Good morning, friends, and welcome to Gardening with Creekside. Y'all, so much fun. We just got in a beautiful delivery of 3-gallon shrubs here at the nursery today. Well, actually, late yesterday afternoon. Today we are putting them out, so I'm going to show those to you. So we've got that to show you. The perennials here at the garden center are still 50% off. Y'all have been gobbling them up, so we're going to take a look and see what is still available. There are still tons available here. And then my online people, this week we are running a shrub sale. It is buy 3 shrubs, get 1 free. We will put all the information as far as the dates and the code up here on the screen. So make sure you take advantage of that, y'all. It is fall, well, no, it's late summer, we're going into fall. It's a cool, cloudy, rainy day here this morning, so it kind of feels like fall. It is the perfect time to be planting shrubs and perennials in your landscape, especially here in the southeast. This is when we do it. As you know, Jerry and I are tackling some big projects at our house, redesigning landscape, redoing beds, putting shrubs in. This is a great time for you to do it as well. So come see us here at the garden center Wednesdays through Saturdays at 9 to 3. And then of course you can shop online anytime you want, 24/7. So make sure you take advantage of that. All right, so let's talk about what came in yesterday. We are putting these guys out so that our customers today will have a great selection. So first of all, these are the beautiful hydrangeas that we're going to be using in our landscape in the front yard. So if you are not familiar with Light Tidbit, my gosh, y'all, this is such a fantastic hydrangea. It is one of my absolute favorites. So Light Tidbit is a panicle, so it loves the sun, a minimum of 5 hours of sun. You can see that it has buds on it, so the nursery that we got it from, Buds and Blooms, they have done a great job growing these sweet things, so you're going to get beautiful fresh flowers this fall. So Tidbit gets its name because it is nice and petite, 2 to 3 feet tall and wide, hardy in zones 3 to 8. Now, because these are going to be later bloomers like this crop, right? We might get some pink this fall because historically, you know, our panicle hydrangeas will bloom, give or take, depends on the variety, somewhere beginning in July, 1st of July and beyond. So this is the second flush of flowers for this crop. So Buds and Blooms, they pruned them early in the summer. They have reflushed, they are putting out buds, and they have got buds and blooms on them. So you're more than likely going to get some pink colors on your Light Tidbits this year. So what we are doing them, of course, is in the front yard, and we're gonna have a mix of some evergreens and then these guys as well. We're also going to be putting them in a mass planting to make a huge statement on the corner of the house. Lots of applications for that, and you can also put them in containers. People will ask, can I grow a hydrangea in a container? Absolutely you can. Just choose a more petite variety of a hydrangea and get the biggest pot that your space will allow. So Light Tidbits, as soon as we get these babies, they are gone. So if you want some tidbits, you need to move with purpose and get out here and get them because they are such a very popular hydrangea. Now, speaking of let's move with purpose, we got, y'all, a gorgeous crop of the Let's Dance Skyview. Let's Dance Skyview, you're going to hear a ton of advertisement for Skyview because this is that continuous blooming big leaf macrophylla hydrangea. It is actually a cross of a macrophylla and a serrata. So you're going to get flowers from new growth, old growth. It is pH dependent, so you're either going to get blues or you're going to get pinks depending on your soil pH level. Let's Dance Skyview, for us in the south, is going to need a little bit more shade. It is going to be 2 to 3 feet tall, 2 to 4 feet wide. It says anywhere from 4 hours plus, hardy in zones 4 to 9. For Skyview, because it still has some of that macrophylla blood in it and that serrata blood, I would suggest it can have either filtered, like bright filtered sun all day, or full sun like up to lunchtime and then a break in the afternoon, because we are in the southeast right here. And You know, as much as we want to put macrophyllus in full sun, we're not Michigan. We're not blowing rock. We can't do that. So you're going to need to give it a break in the afternoon. But sky view is unbelievable. Just this continuous display of flowers all throughout the season. So love sky view. We're going to be planting these in mass at the Signature Garden. I have some at the house. You're going to love them. You're going to see a ton about it, so get some sky views. So we got those. We have got deciduous azaleas. I think Mimi was giving them some love the other day, so we have got those. Then a fun cutie patootie. This is Tough Stuff Aha. Now, I am a huge fan of the Tough Stuff hydrangeas. These are serratas, so these are lace caps. Very different looking bloom than you know, like a macrophylla or a panicle. And Tough Stuff Aha is that reblooming mountain hydrangea, that serrata. It is going to be hardy in zones 5 to 9, 2 to 3 feet tall and wide. Again, this is going to be pH dependent, so you're either going to get blues, or you could get pinks, or you could get something in between. So Tough Stuff Aha is a great one. Sorry, I'm on a bench and it just flipped on me. Tough Stuff Aha is great for those areas where maybe you don't get enough sun for your panicles, or you get too much sun for your macrophyllas. This is a great option. I know Mimi has just the traditional Tough Stuffs in her yard, in that space that is just like that, and they do phenomenal and they are gorgeous. So we've got some buds on these. Beautiful. This is a great one again for that morning sun, afternoon shade. At Mama's house, she is shade, but she gets like sun, like in the weirdest, like from like, I don't know, from like 11 to 3, like that. But it's in the shade in the morning and shade in the afternoon. But she gets that weird sun in the middle of the day. My gosh, they did great. And she has no irrigation. They are drought tolerant. They are beautiful. I love the Tough Stuffs, and the Ahas are just going to be smaller and a little bit more of a rebloomer than your the original Tough Stuff. So those are the ones that they have not put out yet. So let's go find the ones that are already on the shrub lot. So we got a beautiful selection of 2 of the Spireas, by far the most popular Spireas from Proven Winners Color Choice Shrubs. Y'all, without it, again, these go like hotcakes. So, and these are a gorgeous crop of these. What am I talking about? Yep, the ever beloved candy corn. So this is that double play candy corn. Y'all, seriously, even if these things did not flower, look at the foliage. You can see why they get their name. I mean, these are just beautiful shrubs. So the double play candy corn Spirea does bloom. It's like a little raspberry bloom in early spring, and you will get sporadic blooms throughout the season. It is hardy in zones 4 to 8, 1.5, 2.5 tall and wide. So for us in zone 8, it is going to be that 2.5 to 3 feet tall and wide. And I have mine in full sun. So really the Spireas, the more sun you can give them, the absolute better it is, because that's where you're going to get your color. So Spireas, they are deciduous. For me, that's not a bother, because the times that they're deciduous, I'm not like hanging out taking tons of pictures in my backyard. And so that is perfectly fine with me. They bloom on new growth. If you're not pruning your Spireas in late winter, early spring, you're probably missing out on a lot of blooms. So you can, this is not anything that you have to be precise about. Like with a hydrangea, you kind of need to be precise. With a Spirea, take your hedge trimmers, like your electric hedge trimmers, and just buzz cut it. Just make it into a little meatball, and it is going to start flushing out as soon as the weather begins to get a little bit of heat to it. And you want to keep that nice tight habit on your Spireas, and then they bloom like crazy. I have, of course, doozy. I adore double plate doozy. Double plate doozy is going to be obviously a much different color than your candy corn, more obviously in the green, and the still has that kind of that reddish burgundy purple look to it. So double plate doozy is phenomenal. It is tough. It is 3 feet tall and wide, and I would dare say here in the South it can even get a little bit bigger than that. So give it plenty of room. You're going to get those really bright pink blooms. And look, they've pruned these guys. So look, you've got flowers and you've got buds all over these doozies. These, oh, look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? I mean, stunning. And that, oh, look, there's some more. I love it. So doozies are fantastic because they are sterile. So we love that they're sterile. One, for obvious reasons, you're not going to have 10,000 little doozies in your garden. Two, because they're sterile, they continuously put on flowers because the plant's job is to reproduce, right? So it thinks, okay, I'm going to make a ton of flowers because once the flowers dry, traditionally on a plant, then that's where the seeds are. But because it's a sterile, it never goes to seed. So it's constantly trying to push out flowers so that it can reproduce, which is great for the gardener because you're going to get tons of flowers. With doozy and candy corn, if you want to, you do not have to do this. But let's say you have a special event coming up. So like for us, when we had the signature experience, these had already bloomed and were like their very first spring bloom, and then they were done by the time we had our signature experience at the end of June. So what we did is immediately after they finished blooming and they were like the bloom heads, you know, they were like done, we went through and lightly trimmed them. And then by the time for the signature experience, they had flushed out a brand new set of flowers. So you don't have to do that. But like I said, for a special occasion or something that you really want them to be flushed out later on past their original blooming time, you absolutely can do that, and you can do that with Spireas. So we got some more Pugsters. I would say 2 out of the top 3 Pugsters that we sell, we got more of those. So we've got Pugster Blue, and then we've got Pugster Pinker. So the butterfly bushes, of course, this time of year, now it's raining right now and it's cloudy, so the butterflies are not out. If this were a sunny afternoon, these plants would absolutely be covered in butterflies. They love these blooms. It really doesn't matter the color. I have seen them covering the plants completely. So the Pugsters are really nice because they are nice and petite, roughly in that 3-foot range, 3 by 3. So they're not like the old traditional butterfly bushes that can be like, you know, 8 to 10 feet tall and wide, and you have one and it takes up your entire yard. The Pugsters, much more tight habit on them, but you still get the full-size blooms. Also, where we are, our state is semi-evergreen. So when I say semi-evergreen, they are not going to be as flushed out like these guys. It's not going to be super thick like this, but they're not going to be completely stripped like a hydrangea is. So you're going to have little leaves on your plants. So that gives you, you know, some interest throughout the season, even in the wintertime on your Pugsters. Butterfly bushes, of course, they bloom on new growth. So we prune them every late winter going into spring. Then, let's see. Oh, okay, they have wagons right here. Then we got some glow pops. Y'all, this is a relatively new one from Proven Winners. If you want an evergreen color in a petite shrub, this is it for you. Glow Pop is a Japanese holly. So it is not a boxwood. It looks like a boxwood in the fact of that, like its shape, structure, and even kind of its leaves. But obviously you get this gorgeous color on Glow Pop. In fact, I looked at Jerry and I was like, hey, do we want to use these in the front porch redesign? Like for half a second, because they're just so gorgeous. We decided not to. But Glow Pop is going to be also great because it's petite. It's 2 to 3 feet tall and wide, hardy in zones 5B to 9. Definitely going to need at least 5 hours or more of sun so that you get and keep that chartreuse color. Because if you put it in an area where you get more shade, it's just going to turn green. So Japanese hollies are a great option for a boxwood replacement. So if you are in an area that you've had boxwood blight, you've had the boxwood moth, but you love the look and structure and the evergreen habit of a boxwood, but you can't grow boxwoods anymore because of those problems, Japanese hollies are a great option for you. And so that nice chartreuse color in a petite habit. So my southern friends, if you love Sunshine Ligustrum, which is like just right here behind me. So we got Sunshine Ligustrum, which is another great evergreen with that chartreuse color, but it does get big. So if your space doesn't allow for the Sunshine Ligustrum, try Glow Pop. I think you will be really, really happy with how it performs. And just like a boxwood, you can shape it however you want to. So if you want to prune it, you can. Probably coming out of winter going into spring, maybe just shape it up just a little bit. Just give it a little bit of a trim so it stays tight and compact. So like for example, right here, we've got a couple of limbs. Now they're totally fine right now, but maybe in the spring, like this one limb just goes, wah! So you're just gonna come in and cut it right here and keep it in that kind of a more uniform habit. So we have got Glow Pops. Then some of the most gorgeous Incrediballs I have ever seen. Y'all, look at these. These things are huge. They are stunning. So Incrediball, of course, and look, so they had pruned them earlier in the season, and now they have got some buds on them. So we absolutely probably can get a flush of flowers off these Incrediballs this season. That is the beautiful thing, of course, about gardening in the South. We gotta have some benefits, y'all. I mean, we deal with Japanese beetles, the heat, the humidity, the hurricanes. Seems like we kind of get a lot of everything around here. So the good thing is that we do have a really long growing season and that our winters are relatively mild compared to the rest of the country. So we can get that second flush of flowers on our arborescens and our panicles. Incrediballs, of course, one of my all-time favorites. Have them in the backyard. You can do them as a hedge. You can do them as a specimen plant. They'll get to be about 4 to 5 feet tall and wide. But these are literally some of the biggest, most beautiful hydrangeas I have seen. They are in that 3-gallon, but they are a beautiful, beautiful display of just to have knocked it out of the ballpark on how they have grown those. So get them in the ground. In the South is the perfect time this fall to plant your hydrangeas. Primarily, if I'm going to plant a hydrangea, I want to do it in September, October, November, December. That way, these plants are getting more consistent rain because it seems to be raining a good bit as opposed to like July. So you get more consistent rain. The temperatures outside are cooler, but your soil temperature is still quite warm, relatively speaking. So you're gonna have tons of root growth happening, but there's not gonna be the stress on the plant from that hot sun. You get more rain. Even after a frost and a freeze comes and takes off all your foliage, you still have great root growth happening down below the soil. And that's where we use biotone. Every single time, y'all, you plant, use your biotone. So even, look, we've got a little baby bud right here. So you're gonna get a beautiful, fun flush of flowers on these guys. Let's see, who else do we have? Oh, pufferfish. Yes, pufferfish. So we got some gorgeous pufferfish. Again, beautiful display. Love pufferfish. Another panicle. It thrives here in the South. These are beautiful plants. Look at the size on those. They have been pruning them so they're nice and stocky. Like the stems are really, really strong. Depending on, I don't know the last time that they pruned these. I don't see many buds on these guys. You may get some flowers this season and you may not, but it doesn't matter because as soon as springtime comes around, they flush out and they begin flowering in that kind of that midsummer. Oh my gosh, my pufferfish at the berm, it has some old flowers, it's got new flowers, and it is fantastic. Now, pufferfish, let me tell you, it is a panicle, so it definitely needs the sun. It says 3 to 5 feet tall and hardy in zones 3 to 8. I'm gonna tell you, if you're a zone 8, an 8, or even if you can put it in a 9, I bet you could even do it in a 9. Just give it, if you can give it a break in the afternoon, that would be good. Mine is way more than 5 feet tall. So it's probably like 6 feet tall, 4 to 5 feet wide. So give it plenty of room. You can use it as a specimen like I'm doing, or you can put it in a hedge, however you want to, would be gorgeous for sure on that. Let's see, I'm trying to think what else, if we had any more new plants that arrived. I think that is all of them that actually came on the delivery. I'm flying so low today. But okay, so let's talk about the nursery. Hibiscus are still 50% off. Y'all, I know they look rough right now. Don't worry about that. You're buying the root system. Get them in the ground. You can absolutely get them in the ground and prune them if you wanted to, or just get them in the ground and leave them alone. they're struggling right now because they have such a vigorous root system, and they're in these 3-gallon pots, and they're like, they want to get out, right? So we want to get these out, get them in the ground. They are going to go nuts. They're still blooming. So your perennial hibiscus truly are perennial. Like, they are very hardy. You are not going to lose a hibiscus here in the South due to the cold weather. It's not going to happen. They love damp areas. So if you can put them in an area that has some consistent moisture and or irrigation in the full sun, honey, they will reward you with tons and tons of flowers. All right, now here at the nursery, while supplies last, all perennials are 50% off. So roughly our perennials, they're all in gallons, right? So either the premium gallon or the trade gallon, and they're $19 originally. So then you take off half of that, and they're like, what, $9.99 or whatever it is. So half of that. So you've got gorgeous Veronicas, like massive. Look at that. It is a huge container. So we've got those. We have got the daisies, the Nephophia, the perennial grasses. These things were going, there's a whole table of them back there, but there's some right here. These things were going like crazy. As you can see, they have already customers have already cleared off all of the hibiscus, so we need to restock that over there. But the perennial grasses are just being gobbled up like crazy. So for example, Cheyenne Sky. Cheyenne Sky is one of my favorites. It is a panicum. It does great here in the South. In fact, I went ahead and grabbed some for me to put in the berm. They take on those reddish hues. They'll do the little plumes, and it's nice and petite. So it's like a 3 foot tall, and you can see that it has more of that upright habit to it. So we have got the grasses, we've got desert plains inside, we have Niagara Falls, all sorts of ones. Boom Chocolata, great perennial geranium. Boom Chocolata will take on those black hues and does those purple flowers that have those nice tall upright habit on them. So we've got Boom Chocolatas going on. Let's see, they're redoing here and putting some, I think, some sky views right there. And so we've got those, of course, right there. Let's see, let's come over here. Oh, Stokes asters. Y'all, if you have a sunny garden and it tends to be more on the dry side and you want an easy perennial, you need to try these Stokes asters. They are a native perennial, so they're native here to the Southeast. They are so easy and they are gorgeous. They come in 2 colors. They come in white and then like a light bluish color. So this is the white caps, and you can see because we had pruned it, it had fleshed out flowers, it had bloomed, we pruned it, and then it's blooming again. So these pure white flowers, they definitely love the full sun. They kind of have, remind me as far as the foliage, almost like a daisy or a penstemon, but then the flowers, as you can see, are very upright on them. They are going to be hardy in zones, and let me look at my tag here. Where does it say? I can't see. Oh, 5 to 9, and roughly about 2 feet tall, and that's going to include the flowers on them. So a great, easy one for sure. We also have the thalictrum, the cotton candy thalictrum. This is really fun. Cotton candy is going to do, as its name suggests, tall, upright. They're very kind of like a soft pink, and they look like little puffs of cotton candy. So the thalictrum is great. Of course, I love my ascot rainbow. And then we have got the irises. So these irises are going to be those ones that love those more damp conditions. In fact, I need to grab some of these before they get gone. The Pinkerton, I am so excited about Pinkerton. It's nice, soft pink Japanese iris, full sun to part shade. I want to grab some of these, put them around the pond. So those are great options for you there. Agastaki and Monardas and all sorts, just tons of sun perennials. And then our sweet folks are buying the hostas because you know me, I do adore a great hosta, as does Cece. So whenever we see availabilities from our wholesale growers that we buy from and they have fun hostas, we always want to buy hostas. And then of course Jerry's like, we have so many hostas, stop it. And we're like, oh. So if y'all come buy them, that means I get to buy more so that you can have them. So definitely come and get the hostas because of course they're all 50% off. Now, not 50% off, but a great sweet hydrangea that is absolutely looking gorgeous right now. This is the Invincibelle Wee White. Y'all, look at these. They are gorgeous. I mean, and they've got buds on them. You've got some older blooms, you've got buds. So Wee White is that pure white hydrangea. It is color specific, so no matter what you do, it is, here's one that's has really pretty blooms on it, right? So think of like an Invincibelle, but with a smaller bloom, right? So you get that color specific of that pure white flower on it. Let me give you the information. I saw a tag over here. Your Invincibelles bloom on new growth. So you're gonna prune them every late winter, right? And this is going to be a nice petite, 2.5 feet tall and wide, hardy in zones 3 to 8. So these Invincibelles here in the south, with our Invincibelles, we want to give them those good 5 to 6 hours of the morning sun, but a break in the afternoon. Even though it says full sun, those are for the colder zones. If you put it in full sun here in the south, you're going to absolutely fry. Ask me how I know. I can tell you from personal experience. As soon as you give it a break in the afternoon, man, they bounce back and they flourish and they're gorgeous. Guaranteed to have flowers every year. So if you're looking for a more petite, pure white, reliable, blooming hydrangea, Invincibelle Wee White is definitely gonna be the one for you. So we've got like the autumn ferns, the pulmonaria, tons of different hostas, the cast iron plants, the eucharas. I mean, you name it, there's tons of stuff out here, y'all. I think we have, do we have any Lenten roses? I don't think we have Lenten roses, but we've got all sorts of different kinds. Like I said, eucharas, hostas, ferns, pulmonaria. Yeah, tons of options for you. So great time to come and take advantage of these perennials. You don't have to plant them right now. It's okay. I have a stash going. I have a couple of stashes going. I have a stash at the production. I have one at the chicken coop. I have one back here. So once the temperatures begin to really like cool down, and we're going to be doing this within the next probably 2 to 3 months. We're going to be planting like crazy. So this is the perfect time. Take advantage of the sales, y'all. Take advantage, come shop, take them home, put them in a kind of a semi-shaded area close to a spigot so that you can go out and easily water them once a day, you know, if it's hot. And then once it's time and you have the time, you can then add them to your landscape. So fall for me is a much more calm, relaxed, less hurried pace of gardening than spring, because in spring I am trying to rush, hurry up and get these plants in the ground before the heat hits. In the fall, we're very, there's a lot of grace and there's a lot of forgiveness as far as like when you can put the plants in the ground. So it all works out. So take advantage of these gorgeous plants that are here, the shrubs that have just arrived. Take advantage of the online sale, buy 3 get 1 free. And of course the sale here at the nursery where the perennials are 50% off. As always, we so appreciate you. If you have found this fun, informative, inspirational, we would love it if you would like and subscribe. That way you don't miss those 5 videos that we put out for you each and every week. Y'all have an amazing day. We'll see you in the next video. Bye, friends.